the president is having a big event at the White House to raise the issue of unemployment insurance. Actually, it came up yesterday at the briefing with Gene Sperling, the president's chief economic advisor, saying how important this issue is. Let's hear Gene Sperling. Get your comment.
The compromise that is inherent in the Heller-Reid bipartisan legislation is let's move quickly and pass this 3-month extension now. This will help Americans immediately, and this will give us more time.
So it's a 3-month extension they're talking about. The Senate was supposed to vote on it yesterday. What happened?
It was so cold that they shut down the Senate because they didn't want the senators to have to walk. Because hypothermia can set in as little as 5 to 10
They have
minutes.
an underground tunnel. Don't give me that nonsense.
Oh, okay. In actuality, there were senators were back home, and some of their flights were canceled. So they were supposed to vote on this last night, but they didn't have enough people there.
There were several senators who could not get here. Senator Bernie Sanders was going to be our guest this morning. His flight was canceled. Senator Jeanne Shaheen, I know also from New Hampshire, didn't get back into town. There's just two that I know about. So they were lacking some votes.
Senators have got to keep warm or they'll freeze.
Well, their planes have to fly too. But in other words, so no vote yesterday in the Senate.
And this happened at the very last second. They did vote on
Janet
Yellen. But because this unemployment vote is so close, they decided to postpone it. So it's Dean Heller, a Republican from Nevada, and Jack Reed, Democratic senator from Rhode Island. And these are the two states with the highest unemployment rates in the country. They're both 9%.
Huh.
So, that's a pretty high unemployment
Nevada
rate.
and Rhode Island, huh? Right.
Yeah. And the only thing that it's not really a compromise. I mean, it's what Democrats would want, except that it is only for 3 months.
I was going to ask, what is
the
the value and what is the reason for only doing it for 3 months? I mean, if these people long-term unemployed, now if they're lucky enough to get a job, they go off unemployment. So if it's longer than 3 months, it doesn't mean those people are going to be on that.
Well, there are a lot of people whose benefits would last actually for only another 2 or 3 months beyond the December 28th deadline we've already passed. So it would mean everything to those people.
To them.
But
right.
what they're saying is let's just do this 3-month thing so that we can then have a debate about a full year reauthorization and how we might pay for it or what Democrats might give to win Republican support. But it's kind of a funny thing that they'd be doing just a short-term fix after it's already too late. I mean, people's checks have already stopped. It's already caused a massive disruption for more than 1 million people. So in that sense, it's sort of absurd.
What, how, again, I know I've asked you this before. How much money are we talking about?
For 3 months, it's
I'm sorry.
For 3 months, it's $6 billion.
Okay.
For the whole year, it's $26 billion or so.
All right. And per person on it?
It's
how much a month?
It's like a little bit less than $300 per week, so $1,200 a month or less.
And these are people who are, this is it for them, right?
This is only people who have been unemployed for longer than 6 months, because that's when federal benefits kick in, when your state benefits run out. And if you've been unemployed that long, we know from research and anecdotes, you've already downshifted your lifestyle. You've already started tapping savings. So if you're in that situation, even the minimal disruption results in completely screwing up your juggling act with your bills.
So the fact that they delayed the vote in the Senate, does that mean they know, if all senators are there, that they do have the votes to get it passed in the Senate?
That's a good question. They actually don't know. They don't think they do, but
don't think they do.
There are 4 Republicans who are for it. It's Dean Heller, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and one other person whose name is escaping me at the moment. But they need 5. And they assume they'll get all 55 Democrats, but we're going to have a vote to see. That's why you'll see it described as a test vote, because and some of the Republicans, like Susan Collins last night, she's saying, I'll vote for this. But this is not final passage. This is procedural. It's for cloture.
Right.
It's overcoming a filibuster. And she said, I'll withhold support on the actual thing to see if I can get something. We want to change the unemployment system somehow or something like that.
So there are only only four Republican senators
Yeah.
who are willing to extend unemployment benefits for a long term, right?
Who are openly willing.
Openly willing, right?
Yeah.
So what are the others saying about why they would vote against it? We want to kick them while they're down, or what is their logic?
They're really shy. They don't want to be saying anything like that. And what they're saying
what
is simply,
reason do they give?
well, it's the billions of dollars. Say this adds to the deficit. We don't want to do that. You've got to find pay-fors, cut spending somewhere else so that this doesn't increase the deficit. And Democrats are willing to do that. Chris Van Hollen had a thing in the House that was going to do that.
Yes.
But that's not what the Senate bill has. And so Republicans were saying last night, well, this is just pure politics. They're just bringing this up because they want to grandstand about the middle class, or they want to talk about anything other than Obamacare. That's a meme that has arisen. They're saying, look at what Chuck Schumer said on Sunday. He said Republicans will pay for this at the midterms, and they take that as evidence that Democrats are doing this for. Do
they have any alternative to how to help people who are
not
long-term
really.
unemployed?
No, not really. They'll say, well, we should do, after 6 months of unemployment, there should be job training or something like that.
Right.
But it's not very serious.
So is one to conclude that if it looks so perilous in the Senate, it's hopeless in the House?
I don't think that's an unreasonable conclusion. And it's worth mentioning, Democrats started making noise about this for the most part after it was too late. So I think they deserve a little skepticism in what they're doing, because why didn't you insist that this be in that budget deal between Paul Ryan and Patty Murray? That was the train leaving the station, and there wasn't any obvious effort to really pressure them into including the benefits, and they didn't. And then after that, we were just saying, well, obviously Congress is giving up on this. It's over. Yeah. And then the last few weeks, Democrats have been saying in the House, we don't really have anything in our back pocket here.
Right.
Which is actually never the case.
Now, once they made that decision to say, okay, we'll forego it right now, we'll agree that we will not include it in the budget deal, and we'll take it up when we come back, I thought to myself, that means this is not going to happen.